All right, audio's live.
We will begin the stream in 5 minutes. I'll say that one more time, just in case anybody didn't hear me. We're going to begin the stream in 5 minutes. If everybody in the community thread could give me a thumbs up if they can hear me well, that would be great. Thank you all. We'll see you in 5 minutes.
Just confirming you're opening up, right, Michelle?
Yes.
And then you'll open up to Sydney and you'll introduce her?
Yes.
Cool.
If you are in the community stream, can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Carly, can you hear me?
I'm sure we know this, but there's a delay.
Yeah, it's about 12 seconds.
All right, so maybe we just need to make sure that that's muted for everyone, just so that it's not echoing.
Okay, I'm getting some thumbs up. Thank you. We will begin at 6:35.
And I'm introducing Amit. Is that how you say it?
Amit.
It's Amit. Amit. Nice to meet you, Seth.
Likewise.
Looks like we have roughly 30 people on our community stream, more coming in, and quite a few watching live on YouTube. So welcome everybody.
Beautiful.
If you're just joining in, we are starting in about 2 or 3 minutes at 6:35. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for the thumbs up, everybody. You know, this virtual day and age, we have to make sure everybody can hear. Thank you. If you're just joining, we're going to be starting here in just two or so minutes. We have more people joining our YouTube stream along with our couch feed coming in. So we do want to give everybody an opportunity to be here with us. So we will get started here in just a couple of minutes.
Hey, Michelle, can you hear me?
Yes.
Could you just let people know, remind them about the link for captioning before we start?
Absolutely.
Thank you. I'll drop it in the chat.
Awesome. We will be having closed captions. I'm going to provide everybody with the link. And I will make sure to drop it in the community tab along with on Facebook, and then we will get started. Today we are gathered in celebration for Chuck and Charley Morris. We're going to open with a minute of silence. We will now be hearing from Sydney for our singing bowl meditation ceremony.
Hi guys, my name is Sydney. My intention today is to take a moment to ground back into our bodies and come back to this present moment. There's something so beautiful that happens in that moment, and right now we're surrounded with so much love. Everyone's here for the same reason, and that's very powerful. So let's go ahead and just get into a comfortable spot wherever you're at. And we're gonna just do 3 deep breaths. You do that on your own time. I'm gonna go ahead and begin with the singing bowls. And during this time, guys, I just want you to, be here with each other and remember Chuck and Charley. Thank you guys so much for showing up for them, showing up for each other, and more importantly, showing up for yourself. I just want to go ahead and end with something I think is just really important for us all to, remember in the back of our heads during this time. Lotus is so special and they've brought so many amazing people together. I've had some of the best moments, at their concerts and stuff, and we're gonna miss Chuck so bad, and Charley, of course. But just a friendly reminder, the lotus rises from the dark, muddy waters, and it finds nourishment with the warmth of light. And so it gets that from the light. So if you guys, sorry, stumbling on words, but if you guys, find yourself in working through these tough emotions and stuff, just remember that you have access to that light, and we'll grow through this all as the lotuses that we are. So thank you.
So I am speaking on behalf of Jeff. He was a bit too choked up to speak and share his story himself. So I hope I do it justice. So just for context, I met Chuck through my band in 2013, and he has been one of my dearest friends ever since. He was more than just a friend. He was like a big brother to me. There's so many stories I could write about, but one in particular stood out in my mind as I tossed and turned over these last few nights. One that I've only told to one or two other people because I didn't think it was anything special. One that really just shows the simple moment that stood out to me as to why this guy was important to me in my circle. Last year, one of my oldest friends and bandmate, Joel, was getting married. Chuck and I were groomsmen amongst a couple other close friends and family. Getting ready for the ceremony on the big day, we were all getting our suits on, and Joel asked for me to help with his tie. I gladly accepted. I stood behind Joel and tied his tie for him. The moment I was done, Joel's older brother, Van, needed help with his also. I stood there and tied Van's as well. No problem. Then, to my surprise, Chuck quickly stepped right up to me with his tie hanging around his neck undone and asked if I could do his too. I was confused for a second. Like, really, dude? You too? You don't know how to tie a tie? And Chuck just smiled and shrugged his shoulders and mumbled, I don't know, and then stepped up to the mirror. I shook my head in disbelief and muttered a almost audible, Jesus Christ, and stood on my tiptoes to look over his shoulder and tie it for him. Only slightly surprised for a second that this guy just never learned how to tie a tie. A few weeks later, the wedding video was finished and I was sent a copy just for memories. I was watching it over and it was lovely. Nice panning, camera angles, smooth transition, tasteful music playing in the background. There was a shot of Joel's wife-to-be, Mia, getting ready. Pan to a shot of the tables being set, families and friends arriving, and so on. And then, something I couldn't believe, a little clip of Chuck standing in the mirror alone, tying his tie by himself into a large double Windsor knot, a slightly more complicated version of the knot we're all familiar with. So I sat there, confounded and scratching my head, wondering why on earth would he have asked me to help him tie his, when he knew he could do it himself better than I could, and would only redo it much better after I was finished and out of the room. He just wanted to be closer to us in any way he could. He always did. He saw me helping my guys out with something intimate and traditional and wanted to know what it felt like to have their experience too. Like Joel and Van got on a carnival ride and he thought, ooh, I want to try. I saw those few minutes as me just helping my cavemen friends put their ties on, but he saw it as a special little intimate moment of time to be remembered, and he wanted in on it. I can only imagine how many other times he told me he didn't know how to do something just so he could secretly have the experience of me teaching him how. That's just who he was. He always wanted to be there for the special moments, even if maybe we didn't realize how special those moments were at the time. He was one of the people I cherished most in life, and I will remember him with all the love in my heart. I will go forward, trying to slow down and recognize those special little moments as they happen, like Chuck did, instead of looking back in hindsight. This is twice as hard because I watched Charlie grow from half my size to way taller than me. Every time I would come over to their place and see them, Charlie would just smile and talk about sports or school, while always being a few inches taller than the last time I saw him. He was such a good kid. I cannot tell you how proud of him we all were and respected him deeply for turning out the way he did. I'm going to wrap this up because we have a lot to get through, but I want to thank everyone for donating to the fund for Jenny and Amelia. I don't care if it hits $1 million, it will never be enough to replace Chuck and Charlie, but it will help immensely for their family during these hardening times. I don't know most of you, but I love you. And as always, turn the Chuck up. Jeff. And I believe next up is Walker. gracious.
That was beautiful. First off, I'm so happy to be here with all of you. I wish it was under better circumstances, but it's nice to see so many familiar faces gathered to pay our respects to two wonderful people. I think we can all say in some way, shape, or form that Chuck has, and Charlie for that matter, have drastically changed our lives, and our lives will never be the same. I know within this community, within all of you, they leave a lasting legacy that we will carry on, and I know that they would want us to be here celebrating. So I want to send some of my deepest condolences to the Morris family, especially to Ginny and Amelia. I can't possibly imagine what they're going through right now, but just know that you guys are so loved and that you have a community that will always be behind you. I wanted to share this poem that I wrote. I know I posted it in the Lotus family group. I'm not sure if everyone saw it or not, but for me, it was a big portion of being able to heal and start this healing process. So I figured I would share that. And if we have some more time, maybe we could get into some Chuck stories, because we have plenty of those as well. So, a friend who once was always there, now missing in this tragedy unfair. The memories we shared flood back to me of laughter, love, and endless glee. Where could you be, my dear friend? My heart aches for you without end. The tragedy has taken its toll and left us with a gaping hole. The search goes on day by day, hoping and praying you'll find your way back to the arms of those who care to show you love and endless care. Until then, we hold you in our hearts and hope that wherever you are, you're not apart. For you will always be our dear friend, and our love for you will never end. I'm gonna pass it over to Seth, because I'm gonna have a hard time keeping it together. But I love you all, and I hope you finding some peace.
Love you, Walker. That was amazing. I'm gonna have a hard time keeping it together after that. Thank you guys so much for having me. I love all of you. If you didn't hear, my name is Seth. I was maybe 19 years old when me and my best friend decided to take my broke down 98 Civic and drive it to Ohio to go see my favorite band, Lotus. That was the first time I ever met Chuck. And I remember the first time I met him, he was just filled with so much joy. And every time I ever ran into him after that, whether it was on a work event or as a fan on tour, he was just always so happy. And he was always so happy to see me. And I never could ever forget that. The last time I saw Chuck, it was on this recent tour in Atlanta, and he was backstage, and he had his arms spread wide, and he was grinning ear to ear. And he looks up and he sees me. He said, "Seth, you're crazy, man." He had just found out that me and my wife Balin had drove pretty much 1,000 miles in 3 days just to go see him and the music and the community that they have built over the past 20 years. And it was in that moment that I realized that Chuck just wasn't a friend. He was my hero, and not all heroes wear capes. When I was younger, I always wanted to be a superhero. A hero is kind, a hero is loved, a hero is helpful, brave, patient, and strong. A hero lives a life of adventure. Over the past week, I have read countless stories from all of you about Chuck, stories about how nice, warm, and patient he was, stories about how smart, strong, and funny he was, stories about how wild and free he was. But Chuck was more than that to just me, to all of you. He was a bandmate, he was a husband, he was a father, he was a son, a brother, and he was a friend. He was my friend, he was your friend. So now that I'm older, I've realized that I don't want to be like a superhero. I want to be more like Chuck, because not all heroes wear capes. Thank you. I'll pass it on to Amit now. Love you all.
Hello. Thanks, Seth. Hi, everyone. I hope everyone's doing really well. And no matter what time it takes for everyone to feel right, if at all, ever, about this situation, which I know I definitely will not be feeling right about it. But with that comes the knowledge that we all have a certain time left. And you guys are wonderful family. Family is what I've been calling it for 11 years now. I've met thousands of people through you guys. Um, the band, Mike Rempels, thank you for being in this one and being a big part of my life. 2011, I was struggling to find what my soul was lacking despite having worldly wealth. And in my journey, I ended up having a need for something grown out of a seed. And I was in Chicago, and this random person named Brian Patterson goes, "Do you want to hear something new or exciting, new and exciting, or something classicy?" And I said, "Well, uh, something new all the time." And he introduced the Nomad album to me. Started off with Spiritualized because he found out that I wanted to do Reiki healing on as many people as possible and bring that message worldwide. And Mike has definitely experienced some Reiki through me before at Summer Dance. But after listening to Spiritualized for a minute, I said, I want to keep this band as much as possible. And then after listening to Nomad, I was like, I'm going to be a Nomad. And here we are 11 years later. I'm still a Nomad. I'm at my friend's place in New York, missing Chuck, missing the band, missing so many hugs that I could have been having in the near future at another Lotus event. But Chuck has always been that exuberant person that I was looking forward to seeing before a show or after a show. Because the first time onwards, every time I met him, or saw him engaging someone else, it was just always with a glee, like, "Hey, so nice to meet you," or even, "Oh, nice to see you again." His energy was just always lovely and lively on or off the stage. Wish I was lucky enough to have the more of those rare moments going on in the future. Talking about familial things. Last few times I hung out with Chuck after shows, we were talking about how he and Charlie were having, this or that planned, or they had just done it. And he's like, "Man, that kid's got some thighs. I don't know where he got those thighs. Look at my thighs." And we just had a lot of fun, and I'll always cherish those moments. I'll never forget it. Never saw the man with a frown on his face unless he was trying to sell this hot dog or something like that way up in the air with his percussive instruments in the back. But anyway, Chuck had a lot of fondness for his son, and I was looking forward to meeting him one day as well. I met Cindy after a show in Baltimore last year, and Chuck paid a very nice compliment to me, which was more like, "Hey, this is not just a fan, this is someone that is a friend." And that's what I always felt from this band. Even when I had a personal loss, Jesse's first question was, "Why are you back on tour so quickly?" And well, I tend to do things differently than others, and recovering from something sad like this is something that I do internally. And I'm surprised I made it through without any tears. But the love that is around me in this chat right now and has been in my life for the last 11 years is something that can never be replaced. And Chuck will always be there in the background playing something for me. And yeah, I look forward to every time I hear that in the background. And I'm like, that's what life is about. Chuck wanted me to be excited about this new feature. So with all that, I hope that everyone can come to terms with this terrible tragedy. Cindy, Amelia, everyone else in this family, I love you all. I will do whatever I can to help any one of you. Thank you. And with that, I'll turn it over to Krista. Is that correct?
Okay. All right. So I guess I'm the one who's supposed to bring it up to a higher level. So as Luke would say, let's do this. I truly want to thank everyone who is here and the support of not only to bring our boys Chuck and Charlie Morris back home, but mainly to give Jenny and Amelia everything in our power to ease their pain, but also aid in all of their needs now and in the future. You know, this past week being one of the most painful times of my life, or painful times I've had, I've also had to ponder as to why I've been chosen to be standing here today. You know, the only conclusion I could come up with is because Low Fam and all y'all may relate to what I've chosen to say, which has no timeline, about my scriptless kismet juvenile friendship with Chuck being Chuck. As at my notarized start to this friendship during the poster signing at Jam and the Dam, this is how it began. Who in the funk are you? Who in the funk are you? I'm Krista. I'm Chuck. I've heard about you. I've heard about you. We've got to talk after the show tonight. And then, of course, Bulldog, After Hours, New Friends, Penthouses. Here's the address. Do you like grilled cheese? This friendship grew larger with each show we would hang at. Like big Nazzo duo who fed off the laughter and obscurities we could create in our surroundings. But if that power activated was slapped, next level would already be in motion. The surreal ethereal energy of feeding off of each other's traits always made me want to be a better me. In my synopsis of friendship with Chuck, it was so special to me is because it never got personal. Not only that's how a good friendship starts, but you know, that's how it lasts. Now, along the way, I somehow hired myself a job with Lotus. Now, my handle was Super Happy Fun Time Police. Now, my non-responsibilities were 1, do what I could do to make sure everybody around me is happy. 2, if not, figure if that may be reversed and anything I can do within reach. Now, my tools of the trade are punch balloons, colored Sharpies, conductor's staff right here, more punch balloons, miracles if needed, and dance moves created by Lotus. And Chuck always came running when he knew it. He always came running when he knew that I was on the verge of firing myself. Now, listen, my Lotus boys, you have changed my life since day one. The energy, the dedication and focus I saw made me immediately jump off onto that road you were traveling on and do everything in my power to show others that Lotus was much more than just freaking music. Like Lotus is a way of life, of love and healing, and most of all, of celebrating this life with others. I truly love you all in our own personal relationship. That was to my boys. All I ask of everyone is to please be respectful and give our boys all the space their hearts and healing need. Not an ounce of pressure as for future shows. And they will let us know when they are ready. I'm also hoping that with all our overwhelming love and support, we give our boys the cushion they need and their families need while figuring out what our future with them will be. This isn't it. We all know it. Chuck knows it. Our foundation is too strong to be broken. Now, Low Fam, our family has morphed into such an enormous ball of energy that will never wane. I believe with the world getting a peek into our looking glass, this traumatic shift we have felt will be made into a positive. This families of ours, so perfectly dysfunctional, is like our own little empire that we all must play a part in helping to stay alive, no matter which way this ripple takes us. Now, Chuck's charmingly goofy self has lured us all in being here today. And to sum it up, all I pray is we forever keep his and Charlie's spirit and energy endlessly flowing out to the universe. Thank you, everyone. I love you all. I truly do. And, you know, I've been sitting here and talking to him, coming in, aliens. He kicked it out of my phone. Yeah, he's here. And you know what? We don't know anything, but you know what? We're here with each other. And that's all we ask is, you know, give us peace. Let us know. And I love you all. And this is for the Jenny and Amelia and the Morris family. We're here for you. And for Lotus, you know we're here for you. Love you all.
Good job, Krista. Hi, I think I'm next. My name's Alyssa, and I come here with a meditation. Just want to share a little bit of thought before. So if you want to find a comfortable seat or lay down, find a candle or an essential oil or something cozy to bring you into the body. And I want to say it's a beautiful thing that we've all come together to honor Chuck and Charley and their family. And thank you, Catherine, Chris, Michelle, and everyone who brought all of us here in this sacred virtual container. And just like Chuck and Charley, we're the carriers of a unique light that has brought us all here. And thanks to all the people again who made this possible, because you're the warriors of this light. And just like Seth said, not all heroes wear capes. So if you just want to take a minute to close your eyes, soften the jaw, relax the shoulders. And grief is similar to music. It carries a spectrum of feelings. It can be expressed and felt in many ways. It can be felt more subtly, or it can be felt intensely. Both are okay. One may dance with grief internally, while others may need to release it externally or with others. And like music, one's relationship with grief is unique to them. It depends on their upbringing, their past experiences, maybe even past lives. It depends on the state of their heart. We were never meant to experience life struggles alone, so it's very special that we're all here to hold each other in this space. And grief and gratitude go hand in hand, so it's really beautiful to receive both sides of the spectrum here. And both need to be given space to be seen. And the beautiful thing about this circle is one intention brought us here, which is to channel our grief for Chuck and Charley into a unifying experience for us all to feel their presence in the form of the connection that is here. In this circle, we offer a container in which grief is given full permission to be expressed and seen. We're holding ourselves, each other, Chuck and Charley's family, and the Lotus community all at once in this space. Just like the banks of a river, and grief is the flowing water. Your grief is welcomed here. As you arrive deeper into your space, letting the breath move any stagnant emotions that may be resting in the body. Allow in ease, gracefulness. Feel the ground supporting you. Feel the womb of Mother Earth beneath you, being that opposing force of gravity that may be pushing you down. Acknowledge the supportive energy of Mother Earth who's always carrying us. And place one hand on the belly and the other on the heart, feeling the warmth of the hands onto these spaces, and just notice if there's any tenderness here. Welcome that in. Notice if there's any pain or tension. Take a breath to welcome that in. Notice if there's any heaviness or numbness. Welcome that in. Notice if there's any warmth or openness. And also welcoming that in. And as you sit with this rainbow of emotions, just notice which emotions may feel the most present at this moment. Notice if any experiences, images, or colors start to come into the mind's eye as you continue to sit here. Welcoming them in, and the exhales giving you permission to release the physical connection to these emotions. As you navigate your connection to these emotions and your ability to be able to let them move through the stream of grief that we've created, I invite you to bring 3 qualities into the circle: presence, acceptance, and compassion. And you can listen or you can repeat what I'm about to say in your head. We offer our deepest awareness, our capacity to sit here and witness grief as it ebbs and flows, as we hold space for our collective grief to be just as it is. We meet grief with acceptance, letting go of judgment or expectations and allowing it to be as wild, fast, and raging as it truly is, as we create the container for grief to move through. Hold your vision and capacity for love. We bring our boundless vision and kindness so that true alchemy can take place in this space, transforming grief, giving it space to be seen and released. Hold your vision and capacity for love in the mind's eye as we take another moment of silence for Chuck and Charley and the light that brought us all here. Continuing to breathe, we'll now start to create a womb-like portal around the body using a cosmic womb breathwork. Staying where you are, or you can release the hands if you feel called. Take your tongue to the point where the back of the top teeth meet the top gum, relaxing your jaw and the space between the eyes. As we inhale, we'll start breathing from the back base of the spine, breathing up the back of the body along the spinal cord, and at the top of the inhale, we reach the tip of the nose. Breath travels around the crown. And as we exhale from the tip of the nose, it travels down the front of the body, and the bottom of the exhale meets the base of the pelvis. We'll continue this with 10 rounds of breath. Feeling your breath start to cultivate heat and light within this womb space that you're creating around yourself. You can also imagine any loved ones with you in this cosmic womb that you create. You can allow yourself to soften into the space now, being held by your own power and love. And now that you're held in your womb, honor what brought you here. And as you sit here with these emotions in the womb, how can you soften into your presence of these emotions? How can you let the breath transmute these emotions and move the energy? Welcoming them in, cycling them out. And notice when you soften, which parts of the body feel more liberated. Bring your awareness, bring this breath now to the heart space, allowing the breath to break down any walls, any trauma around the back of the heart. And I'll close this with one question to reflect, and feel free to comment and share your answer. And as you arrive here, if you could speak, if your heart could speak, what would it say? And I'm pouring water for the collective grief, and may the grief be moving and be fluid, and it's seen and honored here. And thank you so much for letting me join this space. Lotus has a special place in my heart and always will, and so much emotion through their music and so much love, and to be here in this space with everyone who I know or haven't met, and just hearing all of the experiences that brought us here and the love that we are for the band. It's truly amazing, and the power of community is so needed now. So thank you for showing up. And I will take it over to Michael, and thanks.
Just want to invite us all to stay open and attentive here. I'm just going to read a blessing, sending it out to Chuck and Charley, and this is really for all of us. When I discovered these words a few days ago, and it felt so perfect for this occasion, and so just want to acknowledge I guess I just want to invite a radical openness to experience as it is, and just continue to allow whatever is happening and experience as we traverse this very difficult moment, to just allow it. Give it all the permission in the world to move as it needs to, the grief. So I'm just going to let this blessing speak for itself. I'm not going to say, I'm not going to attempt to share anything else other than these words, and just want to let their beauty, just let the beauty of these words impact you. So this is by John O'Donohue from the Book of Blessings called To Bless the Space Between Us. Though we need to weep your loss, you dwell in that safe place in our hearts where no storm or night or pain can reach you. Though we need to weep your loss, you dwell in that safe place in our hearts where no storm or night or pain can reach you. Your love was like the dawn, brightening over our lives, awakening beneath the dark, a further adventure of color. The sound of your voice found for us a new music that brightened everything. Whatever you unfolded in your gaze quickened in the joy of its being. You placed smiles like flowers on the altar of the heart. Your mind always sparkled with wonder at things. Whatever you unfolded in your gaze quickened in the joy of its being. You placed smiles like flowers on the altar of the heart. Your mind always sparkled with wonder at things. Though your days here were brief, your spirit was alive, awake, complete. We look toward each other no longer from the old distance of our names. Now you dwell inside the rhythm of breath, as close to us as we are to ourselves. Though we cannot see you with outward eyes, we know our soul's gaze is upon your face, smiling back at us from within everything to which we bring our best refinement. Let us not look for you only in memory, where we would grow lonely without you. You would want us to find you in presence, beside us when beauty brightens, when kindness glows, and music echoes eternal tones. Let us not look for you only in memory, where we would grow lonely without you. You would want us to find you in presence, beside us when beauty brightens, when kindness glows, and music echoes eternal tones. When orchids brighten the earth, darkest winter has turned to spring. May this dark grief flower with hope in every heart that loves you. May you continue to inspire us to enter each new day with a generous heart, to serve the call of courage and love until we see your beautiful face again, in that land where there is no more separation, where all tears will be wiped from our mind, and where we will never lose you again. When orchids brighten the earth, darkest winter has turned to spring. May this dark grief flower with hope in every heart that loves you. May you continue to inspire us to enter each day with a generous heart, to serve the call of courage and love until we see your beautiful face again in that land where there is no more separation, where all tears will be wiped from our mind, and where we will never lose you again. I just want to say the community, the way the community has showed up at this moment has just been so inspiring. It's such a gift that we all get to share each other's presence. It's amazing. And I'm just in awe of the way everyone's shown up for each other here at this time. And, you know, we're all continuing to send our love to Jenny and Amelia and the Morris family. and just continuing to like pray for grace as we heal and move forward with such a tremendous loss. I'll leave it at that. Blessings to all of us.
Thank you, everybody, for joining today. In this time of grief, we do want you to know that you're not alone. Our family is here. If you are in pain and need help, please reach out. You might be alone by yourself watching this or feel lonely one night, but we're all here for you. So you're never alone. To Jenny and Amelia and their family, we love you. To Chuck and Charley, you'll forever live in our hearts. So thank you all for gathering here. And this will conclude the end of our stream. Thank you.
Mm.